Thank you so much for joining me. And the last hour, actually, when I first came across it, it sounded like a premonition of the times we are going through. But I was very intrigued by the concept because supernatural, paranormal activities. So I'll start with the three of you. What were your reasons to come on board? And do you believe in supernatural and the paranormal?
Shahana, you.
Sanjay, okay, I'll start. I think I'm very intrigued always by the supernatural, whatever that may be. And this particular show for me was very intriguing because it uses the existing traditional aspects of the supernatural, which is the whole shamanic tradition, which is a very ancient tradition spread all over the world, in fact, for that matter, and something that interests me personally as well. And in terms of the way the show was written and conceived with interweaving a narrative that is engaging, entertaining in terms of keeping you, holding your attention, but at the same time also keeping, using that supernatural aspect, I would say the emotional aspect or the spiritual aspect of that as well. So, and creating the emotional graphs of the characters, all of it meshed beautifully into one narrative. That was something that I thought was very exciting. And as I say, always at a more superficial level, for me, it was exciting to play a cop and hold a real gun. And that was an intriguing enough reason to also say yes. But yes, and then when I met Amit, I think that was another factor for me to be a part of it because he's a very honest and straightforward person, and his vision is very clear and not is what he wants to say. I don't think he's looking to please others or to create something for a notion or idea of how narratives should be. And I think that was just very refreshing and nice. And it was the first show that I actually got offered for the OTT platform, I mean, series. And I couldn't have asked for a better first experience. And then having, of course, shot it and everything, and all these like making friends and becoming, this team that we've created has been wonderful.
True. And Sanjay sir, if I'm not wrong, your first film Prem also had that supernatural element, now
Kind of, yes.
and all that.
Yes.
But this is totally different, the narrative. But so what were your reasons? I mean, you're playing a cop in it,
Well, I feel for an actor to do a certain kind of role is obviously the script and the director. And for me, when I met Amit for the first time, I found him so intriguing. He had that X factor, and the way he spoke to me, and I'd never done an audition in my life, and he said, "Yeah, I think you are very good in love stories, and I've seen a lot of your work. You're such a good actor. And I want to cast you as a cop, but my only thing is I want to see how Sanjay Kapoor looks like Arup Singh." And I had worked for 25 years, and I found it very funny that he asked me, because nobody for the past 25 has ever asked me to do an audition. And I found it very, very warm and sweet that this man who has met me for the first time is asking me to do an audition. And there was something very interesting about Amit. He did narrate the subject in about 7-8 minutes, and which was again intriguing and interesting. But Amit, the personality, his X factor, really, I just wanted to be part. I'd never seen any of his work. I saw his work after I met him. And and I did go for the audition, and I did that audition. Then he disappeared for a month. He was doing Recce, which I got to know later. I thought, okay, maybe I got rejected. So for me, this show is even more special. I will, there's always a first after working for my first film release in 1995. And I started actually really shooting in 92. So I've been working for the last 29 years. And it's the first experience to do an audition. And then the main thing is to get the part. So when I was on set, I just had that feeling I deserve to be here. I have proved myself to get this role. So for me, that's been something which I will never, ever, this experience will never change. Nothing can take away this experience from me.
Wow, that's so encouraging also, but that can also be a little unnerving, you know. I know what you mean. I've been working for 25 years, but when somebody says, Apna zara show reel dikho, I was like, why do I need to show you all this? Yeah, my work is proof enough, but I guess we need to evolve with the time.
No, but
yeah.
you know, maybe I'll tell you very honestly, if you meet Amit, like, I'm not too sure. I'm not saying people will see this interview and every second day say audition to audition. I'm not going to do it. But there was something about, there was so much honesty in Amit. I just felt that he is here to cast me in such a big role for a platform like Amazon. He's not come here to have tea with me. So there was something so real about him that he actually wants me to see whether I look like Arup or not. I believed in it. You know, sometimes you don't believe in people. So if I'm asked for 10 auditions, maybe 8, I'll say no. Unless I'm convinced that just for the heck of it, don't make me do an audition. But I was just convinced with Amit. So yeah, it was unnerving, but I was very excited when I went there. And when I finished the audition, even though they didn't call me up, I was dying to see it. I've still not seen the audition. In fact, I was just saying in a previous interview that I hope Amazon puts it, like I remember as a kid when the laser disc had come out and I bought this whole 3 parts of Godfather, and the 4th disc was the making of Godfather, where all the actors had screen tested, where James Caan, who played Sonny, had done Michael's, this Robert De Niro had come to do this one. So it was as interesting as watching Godfather was the making of Godfather. All these screen tests. So I would love to see who all have screen tested my part, Karma's part, like Dev's part, or Lipika. It would be so intriguing and interesting to see how every actor like played my role or played Dev's roles. It's a very interesting thing. So I really look forward to watch those auditions.
Same, yes, sir. Likewise. And Karma, coming to you, playing Dev, you also were audition. And what really is making me happy is the representation, and also now makers wanting to go and shoot and explore the Northeast. You know, I'm just enjoying that, how actors pan India coming together and giving us, you know, on the platform and letting us showcase their work. That inclusivity is what's making me happy.
Yeah. No, I think that's what you're saying is very true, Pooja. For me, majorly like everybody's been saying, that for me the major factor for doing this was of course Amit, because he also happens to be a senior from the Film Institute. So I kind of felt like when we spoke, our cinematic sensibilities somewhere align in terms of how you want to do things and how you're looking at like visualizing things and stuff like that. So I think for me that was a primary factor. And then of course read the script, a fantastically written script by Amit and Anupama, and then of course Amazon, the platform that it was on. So I think all of these factors are very important, for me, majorly for doing this.
Totally.
And adding to that about the audition, Karma is a director also. So whenever he wants to cast me, if he tells me to audition, Karma, I'm telling you today only, I will do it for you. Out of the 10, when I said 2, I'll do it. 1, I'll do it for Karma. So I'm just waiting for him to ready to do the audition.
Chalo, totally. But tell me something, were there any paranormal things happening? They always say whenever you're shooting something like this, something happens on set.
So one thing I keep saying is the first thing that comes to our head when we say paranormal is ghosts or spirits. Now, this is not really that kind of show. It's more like I said, it goes into the shamanic tradition. So of course, there is an aspect of spirits, but it's not just ghosts appearing. You know, it's communication with a spirit or that aspect of it. So in that sense, it was not it was not as abstract as "Arey bhoot dikh raha hai" ya "Achanak se kahin se koi bhoot aa gaya" ya. It's not that kind of paranormal show, but no, I think it was quite the opposite. There was more of us laughing and cackling and behaving like complete nincompoops, and just because we got along so well, and I think we must have been the kind of disruption in Sikkim and Darjeeling and all of the place that we shot for the period that we were, the 3 months that we were all over the Northeast.
Yeah. And Karma, I wanted to ask you sorry, you were saying something.
No, I wanted to speak about the part about more people shooting in the Northeast and things like that.
Northeast and inclusivity. I'm very happy to see actors from the Northeast being cast and,
Yeah, I guess we function based on trends, right? So like everything is a trend. So hopefully it's sort of something that picks up, and there's a possibility of people believing that you can do more stuff there, which again would lead to a larger representation into the mainstream. And with a show like this, it because it caters to because of Amazon, it caters to such a large audience, majorly to the mainstream. So I think it's very important that such a platform is accorded. And there is a lot of, I guess, unseen, untested stories, possibilities within the space, which I think will hopefully give some sort of an impetus through a show like this, coming out into the mainstream.
Absolutely. And Shahana, as you said that you were very excited wielding the gun, I've come across a lot of actors, female actors who are very happy playing these roles now. Action, cop and all, And I've seen you, you gave us Bombay Begums, and before that I saw Suitable Boy. Are you also happy with the kind of narratives being written and the typical things wo retire ho rahe hain, wo jo tropes?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I think is, a product of the times we're living in. I think world over, the narratives are changing. Communication is changing. The way people are discussing and debating on issues and things, and the way people are also. I mean, I can't say that there has it in my lifetime. I have seen a huge growth. I mean, I don't think I've constantly been reminded of being a woman in many aspects and factors. And if I go back to how it was for my mother or something, so there has been a lot of change, not just in the gender aspect, but I think in just humanizing and in that sense, bringing a certain kind of equilibrium, And now what I find fascinating about what the shift that has been happening is that narratives are going into being more authentic, whatever that may be. If it is a show that it needs to have just testosterone, then let that be it. And then they don't put a token girl in there either, I mean, there has to be an authenticity to what is required in a narrative. And I think what was nice was when I actually went and was shooting in Sikkim, I was really happy to see that there are a lot of female cops over there and in very high positions. And one of them is actually, Karma's aunt, who we met also.
Wow.
She's a cop in Sikkim, in the district that we were shooting in. And so I think those are also the things. I mean, when the real world starts depicting the real world in an authentic way, that is when I think, that is what brings relatability for people. That is what immediately brings relatability. And then that, that's actually what has caused, I think, the success of so many unusual stories or different narrative styles from the typical Bollywood thing, which has its own place. I think the importance is to know that everything has its own value. There's a time and place for each genre, each style, each kind of narrative. And it's just nice to see that now there is a different kind of narrative, especially when it comes to a long format, because you need to grab people's attention, hold their attention. But you have comedy shows, you have light-hearted shows, you have intense shows, you have dark shows, you have all kinds of narratives. So,
totally.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time, I think, for the creative field, and I just hope that it keeps going in that direction.
Absolutely. And Sanjay sir, I mean, as we spoke, you were the poster boy of romance. I know back in the days in the 90s, he gave us some awesome chart-busting hits. But are you enjoying this phase because उस ज़माने में वो होता था ना कि ये romantic hero है, ये romance में ही अच्छा लगेगा. But up, you're doing all sorts of roles.
Yeah, so exactly your question is my answer also. It's a very interesting phase for me. Right now, because OTT actors are getting great opportunity to, the so-called star system is not there in OTT. The very fact that you said romance thing and everything, what happens in the so-called Bollywood is there is a transition period for an actor where he's played these romantic roles or action roles. Then he goes through a phase where he's neither too young or too old to play something. So most of the actors, 95 or 99% of the actors have gone through. But OTT, what it brings in is, like I'm doing a main role in we all are doing such important roles in this show. But if it was a film, they would have depended on stars. They would have casted stars in it. So OTT gets all the actors together and everything you need to suit the part. It has to be authentic. Like today, if we have shot this in Northeast, the character, Amit has not casted actors according to their celebrity, according to the who suits the character. He has casted everything. Today, the best role I would say of Dev is a total newcomer who's never faced a camera in his life. There is the character who's Yamanadu, who cannot speak Hindi, but Amit has casted him. So it was just his belief that if you half the battle is won, also if the casting is correct.
Absolutely.
Okay, and if eventually the best thing about OTT is not the weekend collections. कि अरे weekend की collection नहीं लगी तो यार फिर तो picture डूब जाएगी. So even if it takes time, on the first day or second day where the viewership is not so much, today if your show is good, with the word of mouth, it's always there. It is there on your platform. You can switch it on after 3 months also, and somebody can say, did you see last hour? And you can put on your TV and watch it. So finally, it is the content. It is not the star who sells. Obviously, they add a lot of value to it. But eventually, I think so, it is the narrative which makes a OTT show extremely successful. And there are hundreds of examples. Without giving examples, we all know, whichever shows that in recent past that we've not liked because this star is working or there is not a star in it.
Totally. I agree with that.
The content. So totally, that's, according to me, that's the best thing which is happening today. That's the reason you have such good actors. That's the reason when you see a film today or a show, you believe so much. You actually feel you are living that moment because they're honest characters, And coming to the cop thing, what Lipika is playing on me, I'm playing. Again, we are real cops. We are humans. We are not super cops. We have a family. We have a fear. We have a backdrop. We've got anxiety. We are like humans. We may be a cop. We have a gun over here. But it's not that we take out the gun and we can shoot 100 people.
Totally.
So that is what has changed, in most of the shows. That's the reason people are believing in these shows, and they, to give 8 hours to your life or 10 hours to watch one season, if you don't hold interest, they'll put you off in half an hour.
Absolutely, totally agree. And before I go to Karma, Sanjay, I don't know whether your wife told you that after Fabulous Wives, everybody wanted you to have a separate reality show. Are you game for it?
Yeah, I will probably. I will.
He was like
I'm following you with the camera now, Sanjay.
I think maybe Karma and Sanjay need to do a reality show.
Yes, it should have been the BTS of our show is Sanjay's reality show.
But Amit, how funny he is. Anyway, let's stick to the last hour now. We'll do that conversation a little later.
Absolutely. Karma, tell me what was most unnerving about facing the camera for the first time as an actor? What is most unnerving?
I mean, I think initially, first of all, it's not the first time I've faced. I know, but
like that.
Yeah, but I think the most unnerving part is that mentally I'm still a director. So in the first few days, my concerns are very different. That is not really an actor's concern. So I think getting over that aspect is the first part of it. Then
basically, he's trying to say when he was in the camera doing a scene with me, he was actually a director saying, "Yes, Arup, theek se dalo, bol raha hai ki nahi bol raha?"
like something like that. No, I'm just joking.
The first 5 days he was judging. इसको correct cast किया कि नहीं किया?
No. That's not. No, I think first 5 days I was judging कि मुझे ठीक cast किया है कि नहीं. More than anything else. But I think initially that's the way it played out, because initially I started shooting before Sanjay's shoot started. So to begin with, I think, so it took time for me to realize that there are certain aspects of the shoot that I don't need to bother with. And that I just need to just be true to what Amit wants me to do. And we just try and do it as honestly as possible. Yeah, that was the thing, I think. I think just getting over that aspect of it, I think we should do.
Right. Thank you so much, all. I just want you to
so much,
give
Pooja.
out a message in public interest to people, since you all are voices that people, influential voices. Is there a message you want to give out today as we are going through these trying times?
I think, I mean, I'm somebody who the only language I know or understand or that I operate on is love. I don't have love and faith and hope, and you know, personally also one has gone through a lot of things in the last few weeks, and but despite that, I still hold that life moves on, life goes on. You look around at nature, you look around at cycles, millennia, and things happen, and but the only thing that makes it worthwhile is to have that faith and love and hope and know that it's moving to better times. You know, it's moving into better spaces. And right now is a tough time. The only thing we can do is be sensitive, be compassionate, be there for each other, be empathetic to the pain and suffering around, even if you're not going through it. And it's pain is also an equalizer. You know, it also makes you realize that everybody is going through the same thing right now.
Absolutely. We're in it together.
So yeah, so it's, you know, we can just be there for each other at this point.
True.
Yeah,
Sanjay sir.
I would just say that you need to be safe, you need to be responsible, and the most important thing is you have to be positive that this too shall pass. You should be anxious, but it will pass. You know, you need to be responsible and safe, but you can't be so anxious also and can't get in depression and everything, because you know, humans are made so strongly. They fight it out, and I'm sure we will also, and I'm sure this will also pass. This has to pass.
Absolutely. Karma.
I would just want to give a lot of hope and prayer and strength to everybody. Like, we all are going through this on a very personal level. So like, there is not enough words to at least describe the situation as of now. But yeah, maximum we can say is that we just need to be strong. And
Absolutely.
Hope, like Sanjay said, this too will pass.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, all. Stay safe, be healthy, and hope to meet you all personally soon.
Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you so much, Pooja. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too, sir. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.